You are watching a presentation of Soccer Night in Detroit.
Welcome. It's me, Hannah Crum, with two legends.
Okay, me, Steve.
And Mad Cat.
And Matt Cat.
This guy right here. Every time you score, he has to play this song for you every time, every single time.
Here, I believe in there.
Let's go. All right, back at it again here on a Wednesday, couple days removed from a national championship for the Wolverines of the University of Michigan in the NCAA basketball tournament, and currently right now, Steve's over at Ann Arbor Pioneer High School.
No, virtually over Michigan Stadium. A little beautiful spot near Chrysler Arena. You can see that home of, for the first time since my freshman year of high school, the title is back in Ann Arbor.
Yes, and indeed, Michigan winning, and of course, Detroit City FC going there in about a month. Not at Michigan Stadium, but kind of kitty corner from that at Holloway Field as they take on AFC Ann Arbor in the first game of the women's season. But yeah, now they can put that damn song back to bed.
Are you talking about Hail to the Victors? Or?
No.
What is it?
One Shining Moment. They can put that song back to bed. It's about as annoying as All I Want for Christmas Is You. Is the Mariah Carey of March.
I honestly, I hate to disagree with you, but it's a decent song. They used to play it every weekend throughout the three women, but now the only song you can hear is when the term is done and they get their one shining moment.
Cheesiest freaking song ever to close out a sporting event. In my opinion, I could do without. I really could do without it. Once the tournament's done, once the game is over, oh, we're going to One Shining Moment. Click. That's me. I care. I don't care for that. I really don't care for that song. It's too cheesy. It's too commercial. It's too.
I just want to say it represents every of all the 68, soon to be 76 teams in the future. Of going for that. Moments could happen like that one shining moment of brilliance and all that. So
I'd rather go with Muse's Madness. It was a song that they put in for the 2013 run, in which Michigan ended up going to the Final Four and losing to Louisville in the final. And I happen to like that song by Muse. And you know what? Not as cheesy. It's modern. It's, you could almost put like drops of I could almost record the first couple rounds with Jason Benetti or the first game with Jason Benetti in the background.
Well, do you know that one shining moment was almost the theme for CBS Super Bowl coverage?
Thank God it wasn't.
Super Bowl 21. The game went over, the interview went over, and because of time constraints, it was cut. A few months later, it was used from college basketball, and the rest is history. But you also showed me a video of the Super Bowl 21 intro, which was the CBS college football theme, which I didn't know.
Yes, it is.
My mind blanked out. I don't know.
Yeah. Shout out Big Ten on CBS.
I know. Do they still use that for CBS?
Yes, they do.
Oh my God! God!
So yeah, you can hear the CBS college football theme in the background when they're playing a game at Michigan Stadium, or the 4 o'clock game from the Rose Bowl.
I know, unbelievable. Believe it or not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about soccer. I know we got all.
Yeah. Speaking of another CBS property. We'll be talking about that in a few
except for
minutes.
3 games on CBS and the rest on CBS Sports Network and Detroit City FC.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the property I was talking about. We'll be talking about that in a few minutes. Let's start off with some USL talk. Obviously, we got 9 championship teams going into the Open Cup this coming week,
Next
including
week.
next Tuesday and Wednesday, and I believe 7 USL 1 and USL League 2 teams
Yes, I know.
going into the second, or going into the third round, which they will be facing MLS competition. Of course, Detroit City taking on Chicago Fire this coming Tuesday at Keyworth Stadium. Game you can see on the CBS Sport. Speaking of CBS Sports Golazo Network will have that match for you.
Yes, I know. And this is, I will say to the USL, put up or shut up time, because you remember last week, every team except the Pittsburgh Riverhounds lost in the third round. It was devastating, literally.
Couple interesting fixtures there, in that New England Revolution is traveling to Centerville Bank Stadium to take on Rhode Island FC, which the home team is the New England Revolution.
All right.
So so basically Rhode Island's going to be playing at home, but as the away team.
Oh my.
And Charlotte Independence, I believe. I don't know if they're going to be playing.
Another tricky matchup. That's
Charlotte versus Charlotte. I don't know if they're going to be playing
FC,
at. I think
FC
I don't know.
versus the Independent. Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know if that game's definitely not taking place at Bank of America Stadium.
I don't think so. No.
No, I believe I don't know if they're going to be playing at the same place where Stumptown used to reside, or whatever it is for that one. So kind of a couple unique home situations, shall we say, in the third round.
I know.
And of course,
like I said, we have our own game next week, a 16 matchup. How will the USL respond to the MLS, mostly in games in their stadium and at their USL stadiums?
It's going to be interesting to see that, because I remember last year going down to Chicago. We brought a strong contingent. There was at least about 600-700 Detroit City faithful going down to that match at SeatGeek Stadium. Other than the ultras for Chicago, I did not see anybody in the stands. And it was sparse. They closed off the one sec. They showed the one side, literally. So they closed off the one side, so you could all. It wasn't that big of a crowd for that one. There was more than maybe 7,000-8,000 there at the most.
Yeah, but I will guarantee you one thing: we will have our crowd.
Not even 8,000. I'm sorry, there was more than 1,500 at the most.
I'll guarantee one thing: we will have a strong crowd for us at Keyworth Stadium next week. And from the look of the thing, I'm hearing that the Chicago Fire may not bring their first team because of the Keyworth turf, if I'm reading that correct.
Could be a situation there, because Keyworth's turf is not very forgiving. Let's just put it that way. And they're used to playing on the grass at Soldier Field, as you know. So you might not see some stars there. You look at Hugo Kuipers being the number one star of that club right now with 4 goals. You know what? He could, Berhalter could either have him as a sub, or you might see a very heavily rotated team come Tuesday night.
Oh my!
But Hugo Kuipers was in the matchup last year, and he contributed to the first couple goals. One of them being an own goal by Darren Smith.
Yes, I know. So yeah. And you have to understand, not only we use the turf, but a lot of teams, the high school team use the turf, both the soccer and football team, kids run around the turf. Hamtramck FC from the USPL, they also use the turf. The women's use the turf, and they're worried about overuse wearing down the turf. And I know it's been installed for the last 5 years.
10 years, at least. Yeah, five,
10
five.
years.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if it's been 5 years or whatever, but it's been there quite a while. Usually, field turf like that lasts about maybe 10 years because I think they've gone through at least a couple uproots of the turf at Ford Field that I know
Uh-huh.
I know of. So.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
turf that I was on last week for the Open Cup match in Flint. That's pretty new turf over at Don Bachelor's Field.
Yeah, I know.
So,
And don't forget, high schools are on tight budgets, and considering how much the last turf from the old turf, which was also overused when it first came to Keyword Stadium, to this turf, I don't know.
yeah. So it's on its last legs. I mean, and basically right now we're on the last legs of or the last few matches at Keyword Stadium as well.
I
So,
know.
but one
And in terms
player that is back on the roster just in time for this MLS Open Cup match is one Tatenda Makruva.
yes, he was with the team last year. He only played one game. That was the friendly against Santos FC, where he was the starting goaltender.
So there's
And
not much to go off of here. That's why I'm sharing the highlights from when he was playing at Keyworth for Michigan Stars during the NISA tournament.
I know. And remember, he's the third string backup, unless
God forbid either Carlos Herrera or Carlos Saldana go down. Obviously, we're going to see Carlos Saldana in that on Tuesday. We're going to see Carlos Herrera in that, who's already has 3 clean sheets on the year for Detroit City SC. So we'll including the one last week. We'll see him going on there. DCFC 2 opens up their season this week, coming Sunday.
Yes, cannot wait for that. Hoping to go to some games this season. By the way, their first game will be against. I have it in my notes. Oh, here it is. I have it on my notes somewhere.
Drita SC.
Groa FC this
Yeah.
Sunday over at the beautiful Wayne State University. Yes, they do have a soccer play. It's behind the home section at Tom Adams Field. You know what I mean? They have the soccer field ready for their women's season, which they announced that they're going to start in September, their first women's team ever. And I can't wait to see them. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's behind. It used to be the football practicing squad. You know what I mean? And some player played the field, but it looked very nice from what I've been through the past, and it's looked really good. So can't wait to see that.
Mm-hmm. Their next match will be taking on Alex Lubanski and his Detroit Metro FC squad there. So first 3 games are home matches for Detroit. Detroit heavy schedule this conference that they're in. So
Yeah,
you see Detroit Arsenal, you see Detroit United, Metro Detroit, Victory Soccer. I believe that's out of Livonia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Pinnacle FC. I think that's out of. I mean, it's basically teams within the local area. So
yeah, the local Tri-County area.
yes.
I know.
They're coming to Brighton on June 5th, I believe it is, Friday night over at Legacy Center for a match there, and then they close out the season against Drita SC. So it pretty much mirrors its. I mean, the schedule pretty much mirrors itself. I think the only extra that's on there, I think they play 2 games. Let's see, they played Detroit Arsenal once. They played Detroit United once. Let's see here. Pinnacle they play twice. Victory they play once. So the only 2 there's like 4 teams they play twice. Pinnacle, Detroit Metro, Drita SC, and I think I described them all. That's about it. Yeah. Pinnacle. Yeah, Pinnacle, Detroit Metro, and Drita they play twice. So 3 teams on the schedule that they get to play twice.
Well, should be an
Ne-
exciting season. And speaking of which, considering you mentioned that this is the last year of Keyword Stadium, late last week, a very interesting video was released by DCFC. 3 weeks of demo condensed into 45 seconds. Yes, they show a time-lapse photography of the now gone Southwest General Hospital, which you can see right here. They condensed the 3 weeks of demo into 45 seconds, and like I said, it went fast. First, they knocked down the south side of the hospital, then the north side of the hospital, all left was the hospital elevator shaft, which the last time I was there, which was 6 weeks ago, it almost came down while I was there filming a report. Well, out of curiosity, guess where I was? Well, here we are at the featured site of Alumni 5 Field, and like I said, after seeing that time loop, I had to go back see what the site looked like about 6 weeks after the last remnants of the once hospital was there with the elevator shaft. And incidentally, when I left after the day after, the elevator shaft fell, was demolished, cleaned up, and the site has been cleared. Now, here I am 6 weeks later, about a month and a half, and let's see what's going on, and nothing much. There's a lot of mountains of dirt or rubble of what was the old hospital. I don't know if that is the old hospital anymore. I think they're sorting up all the rubble and siding and all that used to be Southwest General Hospital. But I would love to know. As you can probably see, there is a crane working there. You could not see it behind the background there. But yeah, they are still working. But I'm just wondering what all this means. Are they digging a hole? I've been told they are leveling it. So when construction, they have a safe, solid footing. And once the steel girder goes up on the new stadium. So far so good. There's just sorting or digging or whatever. Who knows? They may be finding hidden gold. Who knows? So far so good at the new Alumni 5 Stadium, and we're T-minus 1 year and counting until we play on the corner of Michigan and 20th in Southwest Detroit.
And as you can see, it went. There's still piles of dirt there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is that normal? Because I know when they brought down the entire hospital, I heard they were going to sort everything out. I didn't know there was a lot of mountain dirt. Is that normal or something like? I'm not in construction. I know you're
It
not in
seems
construction.
normal to me when you think about it. I don't expect anything to be, shovel ready until like May or so, until a month from now and all that stuff. They were saying that they were going to start, you won't be seeing steel until late summer either. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
And here's an interesting thing. I was reading off the newsletter for Alumni 5 Field, which you could sign up on their own website, your DCFC or alumnifield.com. Listen, at first glance, 25,000 yard of construction debris sound like a simple cleanup number, but the picture instead enough material to fill well over 250 full-size backyard pills, or like tens of thousands of Detroit-style pizza boxes end to end from the spirit of Detroit all the way to the Redford feeder. Every bit of waste had been managed so they could start fresh, turning a once dominated block into a ground that is what is up next. For that debris, about 2,000 yards of hard fill, including masonry, asphalt, title, sand, dirt, has been recycled. The equivalent of repurposing the weight of hundreds of fully loaded D-dot buses, rather than sending it to a landfill. Added in the 1,500 tons of recycled steel scrap, enough material to create well over 100 sculptures the size of the massive red Orion outside the DIA, plus 500 yards of recycled concrete, enough material to match the volumes of the hundreds and thousands of bottles of Fago. That's something we do on pregame.
yes. So, I mean, recycled materials is what they did to when they redid when they built Snapdragon Stadium over the old site of Jack Murphy Stadium over in San Diego. So
Yep.
this is not a new trend.
Mm-hmm.
This has been done. This has been done before. Recycling the materials and all that, recycling the land and all that stuff to also help fill the land so that as you remember, it's kind of like the way the hospital was sitting and where that land stands is kind of like on an embankment adjacent to the freeway. So a lot of that's going to have to especially with runoff and whatever it is, obviously, with the rain and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of it's, and like I said, repurposing of the dirt and the materials and all that stuff. I mean, like I said, we've seen this project happen before.
Uh-huh.
So it's not new.
Yeah,
It's not new in the construction trade, as far as we
I
know.
know. I have to learn something because, like I said, I'm not in construction trade as well. So
Yeah.
I'm learning, as Rob Wiggin would say.
We're all learning as we go, as far as this
As
stadium
Rob
goes.
would say, yes.
That
Well, before we talk about the international roundup, there have been some good international roundup. Let's take a slight moment of silence for the quad and trouble chances of one Arsenal.
Not so fast, my friend. They still are.
That's
They're still involved in two competitions. They're still up in the. They're still up in the Premier League.
Yep.
Yep, they're still up in the Premier League right now, and they've got a semifinal that's taking place this afternoon against Sporting Lisbon in the UEFA Champions League. They ain't dead yet. The bottling has not. I mean, yeah, okay, you lost in two competitions. The two English competitions. I predicted that they would split these things. There was not going to be a quad this year. And so far this year, it's coming to fruition for Manchester City.
Yeah.
But Manchester City will not be facing Arsenal in the cup final.
No. Southampton did the deed over the weekend last week, 2-1 over Arsenal. Shea Charles ended any hope for a trouble.
Yep, and thus Arsenal is done. And it was reported too that Arsenal had some players that were on international duty report back to the club. Apparently, there's some injury issues going on over there.
I know.
So I mean, this is what happens when you're playing in four competitions. When you're alive in four competitions, and the attrition goes there. Now, for a team like Manchester City, who's now focused in on two competitions, they handily defeated Liverpool on
Thank you,
Saturday.
Erwin Thor Hagelin with the hat trick. We talked about it on Saturday on the pregame.
Yeah, and they just easily took care of business against Liverpool, eliminating them. Chelsea moves on with a emphatic victory of their own over Port Vale, and then the game.
7-0.
Then obviously the game of the weekend ended up being Southampton against West Ham, and Southampton was up 2-0
Uh-huh.
going into stoppage time. 13 minutes of stoppage time in the second half.
Oh my.
That was more than enough time for West Ham to mount themselves a comeback. And they equalized it. And sure enough, they go into extra time, in which there was a couple chances for West Ham that were called off because of offsides. They could have ended up winning this thing and moving on to the semifinals at Wembley. However, they did lose in penalty kicks. The bad thing was they brought in a 20-year-old goalkeeper. I will look at that up real quick. They had to bring in a 20-year-old goalkeeper because the goalkeeper for West Ham was injured during the contest.
Ouch.
In stoppage time, no less. So he went down with an injury in. As I'm going back here, but yeah, he went down with an injury in extra time, and talk about your, frustrating moments. So, so Areola went out in the 120th minute. Finley Herrick, 20 years old, first ever match or first ever appearance with the club, and he was put into the fire almost immediately. Um, Joel Price missed the first one and looked like he was there, but four straight by Leeds. Excuse me. Did I say Southampton? I meant Leeds.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, I meant Leeds. So four straight goals by Leeds. Leeds went up, as I mentioned, 2-0, and they ended up coming away with the victory in penalty kicks, 2-2, and it was a battle between two relegation teams right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, West Ham being on the outside looking in, Leeds a couple of spots up on the table though, but got to be a frustrating day. You come back, you're down 2-0 against Leeds. Leeds was pretty much had one foot in the door at Wembley, and then almost had the rug pulled out from under them.
I know.
So needless to say, Leeds moves on. So your final four in this competition now. Your final four in this competition now. I did mention Southampton. Southampton won their match. But they took on, that was the team that beat Arsenal. I'm sorry. We're getting all confused here. We're getting all confused here.
After the match, and the four teams that are going to meet up, Man City takes on Southampton.
Oh, yeah, wait. Let me describe the draw. So the draw was done after the match. It was done by Ellie McCoyce of Talk Sport Breakfast, and he had brought his friends along, Travis Perkins and Arnold Clark. So all three of them had to come in and do the draw. If you're familiar with that program, they introduce them like every hour on the hour. Yes, they're actual businesses, Travis Perkins and Arnold Clark. To me, I think they're pundits.
Well, when I'm done for the rest of the day, I'm now leaving on Stockport because of the 5-hour time difference. It's early morning there, then it's late night here. So
yeah, I mean, when I work my second job at night, that's what I'm listening to at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Yeah,
same thing.
Okay. Yep. They come in. Yeah, they'll come in at 1 a.m. or whatever. 1 a.m. here. So that's what happens. But anyway, they did the draw, by the way. So they drew Chelsea taking on Leeds.
Okay, that's my final one.
That'll be taking place on the weekend of April 25th. They haven't announced the actual times yet, or have they? One's at 10. Oh, they're both. Oh, no, they haven't announced the actual dates. And then Manchester City will be taking on Southampton.
I know. Good Final Four.
It's a decent Final Four. I think, like I said, could this be something, could we see a Manchester City Chelsea semifinal or a Manchester City Leeds final? I'm not, I'm putting the cart before the horse here when you think about it, But Manchester City has been playing some good football as of late.
Oh, yeah.
So they could be that. I mean, another FA Cup, and that would be, that would probably take lessen the sting of missing out in Champions League, missing out on the Premier League by winning 2 domestic cups.
In Champions League, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of Champions League, there's a possibility now with Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest advancing further into the Europa League. There's a possibility we could see 7 teams from the Premier League next year in the Champions League.
Yeah, you got that right. Because Crystal Palace is playing in the Conference League. If they win that, they automatically enter the Champions League.
I think they. I don't know if they enter the Champions League or automatic invitation to Europa or how that works out or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean we're looking at possible 7 teams going
Mm.
into the UEFA Champions League next year, thanks to the coefficient.
Coefficient, which
Yeah.
is how many teams get in, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, how your country does in club play in Europe.
I see. Okay.
So I don't know if Nations League and all that factors into it, but but yeah, as far as your club teams go, and if you're doing well in the club setting, in which from what it looks like, even though there are 2 teams left in the competition for um, what do you call it? There's 2 clubs left in the Champions League for the in from the Premier League. Liverpool and Arsenal. Arsenal won their game yesterday, 1-0. Um, but Liverpool, they take on PSG later on this afternoon in their semi or quarterfinal match.
Yes, and the other one was Barcelona against Atletico Madrid in
Yep,
the other.
yep,
This is leg
A
one.
La Liga battle.
Yeah, this is leg one of 2, and
Yes.
so far the first 2 has been close. So who knows? It could happen in the second leg. Bayern
Yeah.
Munich beat Real Madrid Junior 2-1.
And we got a reaction from one Vinicius Jr. after the match, and
Don't tell me he was crying.
yeah,
It's
he's
leg
really.
one. It's only leg one. It's close. It's not a blowout yet. But come on, come on. And you host leg 2, by the way.
You
You
know
know what
how
I mean?
much I love Real Madrid?
How much?
Not at all. I'm rooting for Bayern Munich. Come on now.
Yeah, and don't forget, Mbappe is also on Real Madrid
I
too.
don't care. So is Jude Bellingham.
Okay,
They're the biggest. I'm sorry, they're still the biggest bunch of crybabies in European football.
okay.
That's that.
As long as I get to say Mbappe's name, Mbappe.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
back in the
okay.
lineup, isn't he?
What?
I think he's back in the lineup, isn't he, or is he
I
still
think
injured?
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
he missed the quarterfinals because of a hamstring injury, right?
I think
Uh huh.
so. Yeah,
I know.
I think that's what it is. So, but one league that's not going to have, let's just say, automatic access to the Champions League will be the Scottish Premier League, and it's coming down to the wire
Oh
in that league.
man, I know. I was watching last Sunday's matchup on Paramount Plus, and when I saw the standing, I'm saying, "Huh? Rangers caught up to Hearts, and we are still
And
6 points
get this: if
behind."
Rangers end up winning the league, I was reading this morning. Rangers could qualify automatically, but Hearts and Celtic can't.
Why
They
is
have to go through
that?
the playoff.
Well, why is that?
Probably because they really didn't do that well in Europa League either. Even though I think Celtic, yeah, Celtic went
They
to the
were knocked
knockout
out.
stage.
They were knocked out in the round of 16. I remember.
Yeah, or
Oh,
no, in their punishment round.
I know. I
So
know.
yeah, I don't know how that works out. Anyway, it's not going to be an easy task for one of those teams. They're going to end up going into the qualification playoff no matter what here. So
Yeah.
looking at the first week of that, Celtic will be taking out Falkirk. Rangers at Motherwell. Rangers host Motherwell. Hearts will be traveling to Hibernian, and we're talking about, and it also shows the relegation playoff as well.
Mhm.
So I won't be describing those matches there, but
But you could mention 3 games. May 4th, Hearts versus Rangers. May 10th, Celtic versus Rangers. And if it comes down to it, May 16th, Celtic versus Hearts. That's in the last week. That's all you have to know.
Oh, absolutely, and we're just flashing through those. Yeah, we're not going to go through all the fixtures and all
No.
that stuff because I mean that's way too many fixtures there. But for our fate, for our happy anniversary, by the way, so
Okay.
to the Detroit Celtics Supporters Club celebrating their 5th anniversary this week.
Woohoo! And this
So
week is the last week of the season, and I think
yeah,
they're gonna have a viewing party for the game. James Tank Miriam.
yep.
I
So
know.
so they'll be celebrating that. So okay, so for Celtic it'll be Falkirk at home at Celtic Park, Hibernian on the road for their next fixture, and then they will take on Rangers at home.
I
And
know.
guess with who?
Who?
The Green Brigade is allowed back into Celtic Park
Woohoo!
after everything that's been going on there. So that's going to be a huge advantage for the Celtic fans or for the Celtic faithful. Then they travel
And
to
keep the
Motherwell.
Rangers fans away from the arena, for God's sake, after the shenanigans of the Scottish Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
I'm
Motherwell
not
on the
getting started.
road.
I'm just saying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then
I'm security
yeah, and
event
then
every time Celtic and Rangers meet, by the way.
oh god.
Oh, God,
Probably
they're
one of
lying.
the most fiercest rivalries in football. And of course, the key here for Celtic is they host Hearts and they host Rangers
Wow.
at Celtic Park. That could be key. They could come up from third and end up winning this thing.
I know. For their 56th title ever.
And for all the adversity that Celtic has gone through this year, especially with the coaching, with Brendan Rodgers leaving, Martin O'Neill getting a stint, and then having to step aside to bring in Wilfred Nancy,
And that turned into
the
a
troubles with
disaster.
yeah the
And that
troubles
turned into a disaster.
yeah the troubles with the board, shall we say,
Yeah.
throughout the year. Celtic or the Green Brigade being banned from the park. I mean, this has been. Let's just say if they win this thing, it's gonna. It's like a Phoenix Rising type of situation. Not Phoenix Rising, the USL club, but it'll be like a Phoenix Rising situation because this team was a few months ago. We were leaving them for dead. Literally, we were leaving them for dead, and now all of a sudden they have a possible chance of winning the Scottish Cup and winning the league.
Mhm.
So, like I said, to overcome that adversity, that should be. I'm not discounting. I mean, Hearts they still have a chance to win secure this thing, and break the monopoly of the top two in Scottish football. They have that chance as well. And of course, Rangers, they went through a little trouble themselves as well
Huh.
to
I
begin
see.
the year. And
Yeah.
now they've come back, and now they're a factor into the top. It should be a cracker of
A
six.
spectacular down the stretch.
Yeah, it should be a cracker of a stretch going
Okay.
forward. So, but having a little fun this week. I noticed this graphic on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. You showed me this yesterday, but please explain. I'm working on my cell phone yet again, like I have been doing all season, but please explain.
So, little thing on Facebook, just a little bit of fun here. We're not gonna do like they do on. I'm trying to think what channel on like a rank 'em type deal or whatever it is, like they do a duh, on when all this talks football data dive. But
I know.
it's interesting to see what we have here, and this is the top 20 clubs in terms of net value in the world.
Uh-huh.
So, take a wild guess who number one is.
I'm going to say Manchester United.
Bingo. Yep, Manchester United sitting there at the top at an estimated $6.2 billion.
6.2 billion. Holy cow.
Second coming in, obviously Real Madrid. They're sitting at $6.06 billion. And of course, yeah, you could say, and Barcelona not that far from behind. The European champs, obviously, that coming in, they're sitting in fourth at $5.11 billion, and of course, the other and the ones that cry foul every time Manchester City spends money, they're sitting pretty well themselves.
What team is that?
Who do you?
Arsenal?
No, Liverpool.
Uh, I know.
Yeah, they're sitting pretty well themselves. So don't be crying oil money, blah, 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 715 charges, blah, 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 blah. You know, sit down, settle down and try to battle to get a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Manchester City, for not winning any trophies this year, they're sitting behind Bayern Munich.
Oh.
Bayern Munich sitting at 4.8 billion. Manchester City sitting at 4.75 billion.
Wow. Okay.
So you know what? Grant you, okay, they're getting the money. A lot of that money coming in is from playing in the Champions League, playing in the getting deep into the Champions League and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
So they're sitting right now in seventh, and they're ahead of Arsenal, who's at 3.91 billion.
They're not crying foul over lost profit.
Well, and of course, Stan Kroenke, he's got a bunch of clubs.
Yeah, the Rams and the is he still involved with the Colorado Avalanche or Denver Nuggets or
Colorado Avalanche, Colorado Rapids. I think there's supposed to be a new. I think there's supposed to be a new name change with that club.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
So yeah, I think there's gonna be a name change with that club, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So we keep on going down the list. Get down to number 15. Who's at number 15 right now?
An MLS team.
What MLS team?
The constant name we call the Pink Phony Club. And they wear all pink. No.
Wrong. They just signed a guy from Tottenham Hotspur.
Are you talking about the Los Angeles Galaxy?
Nope. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Football Club.
Oh, the other LA club.
Yep. They're sitting at $1.15 billion.
Oh my God.
That is the highest net worth club in MLS right now.
And that's the junior club to the senior club, the LA Galaxy, who's been around MLS for a long time.
They're estimated at $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in 19th. Inter Miami falls just behind Atlanta United. Atlanta United is at 1.05 billion, sitting in 17th place. Inter Miami is at 1.02 billion, and they just opened up a new stadium.
Don't be surprised.
Stadium.
Yeah, don't be surprised if that profit go up too for Miami.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Don't be surprised if they move up the ladder. But you get this: there are a total of 5 MLS clubs in that top 20. With New York City FC, the only team under $1 billion, set at $840 million. And guess what? They got a new stadium opening up in Queens pretty soon.
Oh my!
And that team is separate from the city. It is part of the city football group, but they are, and on this list they are separate from Manchester City.
Yes, and it is New York City Football Club a joint venture between the Yankees and Manchester City.
I think it's mostly Manchester City. It's part of the city football. It's more of the city football group than it is the Yankees. I think the Yankees have a small part of it, but I think it's mainly city football group.
I see. Okay.
for that. Hence why they play at Yankee Stadium, obviously, and now they're playing at Citi Field as well. But now they're going to be playing across a little bit down the ways from Citi Field next season, from what I understand, in that new stadium of theirs, the Etihad. They call it the Etihad over there.
Yeah, after Etihad Airlines, right?
Yeah, well, obviously part of the Citigroup for many years.
Oh,
So, but I
I
think
see.
I can't remember the name offhand, but it's not the Etihad Stadium. It's something else.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
it's Etihad Park or whatever it is. From what
I
I
see.
understand. Kind of interesting there. Kind of interesting there. So, ready to do some sorry not sorry?
Yes, and I'll let you go first with Sorry Not Sorry. So roll the intro.
I've got a lot of problems with you people, and you're gonna hear about it.
Just brother.
All right, it's time to put up or shut up. Last 5 weeks or so, we've seen the USL players gather at the center circle or just stand there for a minute and expressing their intent on the expressing their dissatisfaction with the negotiations that are going on right now between them and the USL, between the USLPA and USL HQ. We are at a tipping point right now, or not really a tipping point, but we are at a milestone marker. 9 clubs will be playing this coming week in the U.S. Open Cup against MLS clubs. We still don't have any ground that has been gained since, shall we say, the beginning of the season. And none since, you might as well say none since the contract deadline, or the contract expiration, not the contract deadline, the contract expiration on January 31st of last year. They have already authorized, the USLPA they have already authorized the nuclear button, which is to strike against the USL.
No, brother.
Right now, like I said, all we've been seeing has been the moment of stillness. At first, it was for the first minute of each game. Now it's boiled into the first minute of the second half of each game. What USL HQ is doing, and via their broadcast, they have turned to ignore the moment of stillness. They won't say anything as far as that goes. Right now, all we know is that the two sides are pretty much in disagreement over NIL. That's becoming a main, let's just say, a main cog or clog in the negotiations. They've agreed almost to everything else. I'd like to take you to an article that was written yesterday on Substack, describing the situation in the USL labor Jonathan Starling wrote this article for Beyond the 90. So I did share this article with you, Steve, on that. So basically, he said the USL had 48 hours to strike, or it won't matter. This is why I say put up or shut up. All right. You've expressed to us your frustrations about it. The fans have gone along with it. Has HQ done anything about it or recognized it? Obviously not. You can tell by the broadcast. The only way people are doing it is via social media. Whether I put it out every time we have, or you put it out there, or whatever it is, about the moment of stillness and all that stuff, or people gather in the center circle. The message is being sent out there. But the thing is, the message is being ignored at the same time. Whether it be by the broadcast or whether it be by apathetic supporters. There's like, okay, let's, they're getting sick and tired of it. We're waiting to see what the next move's going to be. And right now, as we look at it, like I said, 9 teams are going into this next week playing in the U.S. Open Cup. Now, we also have the problem here where, you got one game tonight. They're going to be playing one game tonight. But you look at this here. This is what Jonathan Starling said in the article. The longer you practice and play, the more the clubs like New Mexico United, Hartford Athletic, the Las Vegas Lights are going to rally the rest of the clubs. Not in my opinion, say nothing of the hopes of silence, but buys them Division One status. I kind of screwed up that one, but
Yeah.
we're looking at it now. Is we have what 25 clubs in the championship right now?
Yeah, 25. Yes.
So we're looking at 22 clubs compared to 3. There might be others. Those are the 3 that we know publicly. We either say to those clubs, put up or shut up as far as the standards goes. Improve your standards. Provide your players health care. Provide your players stipends for housing. Get with the program. Or else we're not gonna let you. You'd be lucky if you could get a Division One status at this, or not Division One, League One status at this point. That's the ones that fall under the threshold. To the players, I say, okay, now's the time to make your move. Are you going to strike or are you not going to strike? Because if this continues, nobody's going to care about it. A message has to be sent, whether it's one way or the other. Whether the USL HQ bows down and says, okay, we're going to accept your terms on the contract. We're going to make sure everybody's copacetic with the health care, or everybody's going to be copacetic with the housing, the stipends, the travel costs, and all that stuff. The NIL. We've said this all along. The clubs are separate from this because USL runs a system in which the HQ gets everything. The clubs have to provide the product themselves and the operations themselves. So the players, I say to you, you got to make a move this week. Once these Open Cup games, I'm not saying don't make it this weekend. Once these Open Cup games are done, and you see that maybe some teams will end up falling by the wayside, that's when you got to make that. That's when you got to make that move and say, "Hey, okay, let's go. We gotta halt this thing until we get what we want." And to the USL side, I say, you got to make a decision on your own. You either got to bow down to them or work a compromise in which every team's involved. Because we're looking at it down the road, these League One teams are going to be going through the same thing next year. And if you have these aspirations of getting this all put together, we all know about Justin Papadakis' departure last week. Now it's time for the people at the bell tower in Waterford to figure out what the hell's going on going forward, and it's time for the players to make their next move. Somebody's got to make a move here, because right now what we're seeing here, you're turning fans, you're turning supporters into an apathetic point. We've seen what's happened. When are you going to make a decision? When are you going to get this done? Let's get it done. Let's get it done and over with. That's all I have to say about that. Let's get it done and over with. Let's get a deal done. Let's play some soccer. Let's not sacrifice this season because you guys cannot come to terms on NIL or healthcare or housing stipends or players' minimum salary, whatever. Get it done. We're at that point now.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. We've been seeing those moments of stillness, or it used to be at their position. Now I know it's in the last couple of weeks they have now formed a semicircle, not playing until the minute is up.
It's become pointless.
It
It
is.
really
And
has.
I'm kind of agree with you. I support their stand, but honestly, at this point
I
now,
do as
what
well.
else is there to do?
Yep, I do as well. But
You can't do it
action's got to be
forever.
taken now. Action's got to be taken now. We're at that point. I said
I
that. I said that at the beginning of the season. It's going to come down to that after that third round of the Open Cup, because now after the third round of the Open Cup, you have that time frame between now and your next round. Should some of these teams move on, but if the message isn't being carried out, then what's the point of it?
I know. Well, great point there. My sorry, not sorry, as you probably know, have to do with television rights. And I know, it's not a sexy subject given what's going on these days in television. A lot of networks are going under, i.e., FanDuel Sportsnet going under because the business model have changed. And you probably know the NFL is acting too much. That could have a financial strain on the network. We can't pay $4 billion a year for NFL football and all that. But as you probably know, the mother of all bells was MLS big time deal with Apple TV Plus. That was supposed to go 10 years. But after the announcement of the new international season, they reworked the deal. So the deal is scheduled to go for 2028, 2029. But you say after the whole experiment is put to bed, they may sell their right back to the local market, get it shown on whatever they showed here, if they still have a regional sports network their own, not FanDuel or anything else like that, or the local TV market. Well, one New York City FC president CEO, Brad Sims, said he doesn't expect to go back to the local right market. And he quote from Sports Business Journal, "I don't see that ever happening again." Oh my God. For them, the calculations now, while getting such TV rights back as the largest media market may be good for his club, it's not the best thing for MLS media future. He said it. For our market, yeah, it would have been better, but we're better off annually in those models where we could have local rights. I don't know what the best for the league as a whole, as an enterprise. I think it was done. How it was built, it was probably to be the best path, the way to go to term, where owners and where the league think the broadcast rate should be. You gotta have to have product at the people who want to watch in the U.S. and globally. So you have a broadcaster willing to pay those rights. I'm sorry, what? Come on. You know what? I've been watching TV, and when you have local rights, you want to get the fans in the seats. You know what I mean? I remember all those long-time Pistons broadcasts on Channel 50. George Gaha, not only the color play-by-play announcer, every break he said, "Hey, you want to see Larry Bird against the Boston Celtics against the Silverdome? It's gonna cost you $18 for a like ticket." And as you probably know, the point of it is to get fans into the seats. And either by special ticket package, like I did with the Justin Verlander T-shirt, by the way, last Sunday, or you have to have budget seats, but you have to have a local TV market. You can't ignore a standalone product like Apple TV Plus, which they will not let you promote when the next game is. You have to have local rights. Say, come on, if you want to see it, come on, go and see it. For annoying local rights, it's just mind-boggling. And finally, the TV station needed, because they're not going to play courtroom shows, infomercials, weekend movies, or what kind of slop these days they need sports. We had a great deal for about 7 years, first with TV 20, then Channel 50, before the deal was pulled, because the station that used to carry our games have to please the network for their whatever sports programming. Come on. It's just, saying that, hey, nobody's going to watch it. What's better than Apple TV Plus? ESPN Plus? Paramount Plus? Whatever. Come on. But you have to have a local right deal. And if you want to have a local right, telling them, come on, they'll show up. The viewers will show up. Like, ignoring local TV, it's just maddening.
sadly, we have gone to that point, where, it's everything's got to be either on a streaming service it's got to be on a national broadcaster when you think about it. You would think of, you're talking about like with the Premier League. I mean, it's either on Sky or TNT Sports over in England or National Worldwide Package or whatever it is. MLS is trying to do the best they can with what money that they got. Apple put a lot of money into this thing, if you realize that. But they are, but
double
the,
play all, which was $99, didn't work. Nobody signed up for it, and
no, and now they have to pay $12 a month so that they can see all the games, which they should have done in the first place
You're right.
to make it available. Fortunately, ESPN's got the same thing. I mean, I don't know if they still have offered, the ESPN Plus, but I mean, still $30 a month for, everything is pretty steep as well. $20 a month is pretty steep as well. Like, with the DSN. So, sadly, the days of having local broadcasts on over-the-air television has gone by the wayside. You got these streamers that want a piece of the pie too, and there might be a day. We're fortunate now that we're able to watch NFL games, for example. We used to not be able to watch them if the team didn't sell out. You weren't watching your game at home.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time that you couldn't even watch your games at home.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're blessed with it, and now that we're going into streaming and stuff like that. I mean, unfortunately, that's going to be the way to go. And in the end, some of these local products are going to be, or some of these local television stations are going to be, let's just say, kicked to the wayside because of it.
I know.
And it's going to be hard to promote it. And, the best thing to do it, and I was told this, the best thing to promote your club is word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that pretty well here in Detroit.
We got this festival promoting City playing first at Cat Tech, saying, "Hey, this could be cool," and here we are.
Yep.
We're about a year away
thanks to people like MLL or promoting the club on his show. We're doing our part. Majors Detroit doing their part as well. And you're going to see a lot more coming in as this week's coming along. You're seeing the local outlets talk about this game, like MLS is coming to Detroit.
Yeah,
they're hyping this game up coming up on Tuesday.
It's the Chicago Fire, not an MLS game where we're trying to kick off. We have done successfully against Columbus. That was a memorable matchup, by the way.
Houston Dynamo.
Yes. Memorable matchup.
Like I said, the thing is trying to sell it to get the butts and seats, and that's what it all amounts to. And it takes people like you and I to do it. It takes people like the majors to do it. Small little podcasts like ML Elrics to do it as well. It's we're the fifth wheel on the car. We're the spare tire as far as Detroit professional sports go.
I know.
And it takes a lot of work for people like us to do it. Speaking of a lot of work to do, we got a lot of work to do to put this thing to bed. Tell them where we can see this game on Saturday.
Saturday, the only thing you can watch it is on ESPN Plus if you have cable, either ESPN Select or ESPN Unlimited. And you can watch the game in Espanola on UDN.
That's right, Saturday at 4 o'clock. You can catch all the action. We'll be on with Soccer Night in Detroit, obviously, prior to the match. You'll look for that pretty close to an hour before kickoff. And then we'll be there for after hours as well.
And it takes Tebow week, literally, considering that one of the minority of Sporty Jacksonville is Tim Tebow, literally.
Yeah, Sporting, not a glorious matchup, but you know what? Hey, Detroit City trying to keep.
Got their first
they're undefeated at home.
Yes, but until Tampa Bay won it late. You know what I mean?
No, I'm talking about Detroit City. Detroit City's undefeated at home.
Yes, undefeated at home, but yeah. It's going to be a great game, and we're going to break it down on Saturday.
That's right. That's right.
And no moving next week because guess what?
We'll probably do one Wednesday night. We'll do one Wednesday. We'll do one next Wednesday night.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Soccer never stops. Literally.
Yeah, we'll do one next Wednesday night, and on that episode, we'll talk about the we'll talk about the semifinals of the UEFA Champions League because they'll be all set by then.
Oh yes, I know because
The second leg, the second legs of all these matches. We'll be talking UEFA Champions League semifinals. The Premier League is back this week. We'll be talking about that.
And we'll review which the luckiest.
Obviously, some Open Cup we're going to be talking about as well.
Yeah, who will be the lucky team that will go to the fourth round against either a USL club or another MLS club?
Because I'll have Open Cup in the background. Obviously, you'll probably have Open Cup in the background at your place as well.
I know.
So we'll be talking about that. So we got plenty to talk about next week on the Musings. So don't forget to join us Saturday from Keyworth Stadium. For Steve over at Holloway Field in Ann Arbor.
Actually, it's Hamtramck, Michigan. This is just a viral background. But congratulations, go blue.
And Mad Cat here at the Hacienda in Fenton telling you folks to keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the galaxy, and most of all, be good.